Well, hey there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Luthorville. The reason that I have not made an update in the past 3 months is because I was going through the entire process of picking up my tiny house from Tennessee. So this video is going to show you some of the clips of that whole process. Now, I have to say that I was in a horrible mood. The entire experience of picking up the tiny house was horrible. So many things went wrong. I was really stressed out. I had all kinds of worries and concerns about the size of the thing. And anyway, my point is that I really love the place. It's really cool. I've really been enjoying the whole process of moving into it. But this video of showing you my journey to pick it up is extremely negative and really kind of a bummer. And I feel like it's really important for me to share that with you because, as I have said many times in past videos, the whole reason that I've created this series is to help inspire people who might want to be doing something similar. And there are a lot of video channels out there that do that. But the thing that I really don't like about other channels is that a lot of them, they kind of glaze over all the negative stuff. They only show you the positive things. And I feel that if you're trying to genuinely help people, then you're doing them a great disservice by only showing them the happy stuff, and playing all that ukulele music and everybody being all smiles. Hey, this is my tiny house and it's great. No, it's not all great. Okay, some of it's horrible. Some of it is really hard and it really sucks. And if you try to take a similar journey and then you find that you're having all these negative things happen to you and you look at everybody else and you go, wow, all their experiences were so great, mine stinks, so I might as well just give up. See, that's not right. I feel like what you need to do if you really want to help people is show them all the bad stuff so that when you go through all the bad things that you're going to go through, you can look at this video and go, hey, look, Eric went through all kinds of crappy stuff too, and he kind of trudged through it and everything turned out fine. So I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to make sure that I don't give up. I don't quit. I'm going to keep going for it. So all that being said, here are a few clips of me picking up the tiny house. Well, how's this for an unusual beginning to a Luthorville video? I apologize for the audio. I don't have the microphone set up. That right there is my truck parked in the parking lot of a Days Inn somewhere just outside of Dallas, headed to Tennessee. How do I look? Do I look horribly disheveled? I have to get out of here in about 15 minutes because that's my checkout time. I got about 4 hours of sleep after driving for, I think, 19 hours. And the night before that, I got about 5 hours of sleep after I had driven for 6 hours. So, did you notice that I couldn't put those sentences together very well? Yeah, that's why. So, I have about 6 hours to go. And I figured I haven't been documenting any of this like I wanted to, so I should throw something together. So yeah, this is the beginning of me going to pick up my tiny house and torturing myself with this insane drive. So let's see what happens next. It's currently 1:12 p.m. I'm at an IHOP somewhere in Texas. Not sure exactly where I'm at, but I love Texas. First time I've ever been here. And my waitress, whoa, it's really dark. My waitress said to me as I was leaving? She said, God bless. And I said, same to you. Nobody would ever say that in California. Well, good morning. I am now in Tennessee, staying at a tiny house. Let me flip the camera around here and show you out the window. There's my truck parked outside, and it's really freaking cold. It was about I think 20 degrees last night. And they only had a little space heater thing in here basically. So what I did was instead of sleeping downstairs, I slept up there in the loft. And climb up the ladder here a bit and show you. So yeah, I was up here in the loft and I had the space heater. Well, sorry about that big glare there, but had the space heater going. It wasn't too bad. It was a bit chilly, but you know, it was tolerable, I guess. So yeah, I'm now heading out to go get breakfast, and then I'll head over and see my tiny house. So the adventure continues. Here's a photo that I took of my tiny house on the night that I saw it for the first time. And I have to say, my very first initial emotion, my first feeling when I first laid eyes on it, and I actually saw it from the back, because if you look on the left-hand side of the photo, you can kind of see there's a door there on the barn. So that was the door that I came in from. So I saw the tiny house from the back. My very first thought was absolute fear. It was terror. I was not happy. I was not excited. I was absolutely mortified because it's so big. Now, look on the right-hand side, and you'll see one of the construction workers. I believe that might have been one of the guys working on the electricity, one of the electricians, right? Look at how tall he is. And look at that compared to the rest of the tiny house. The thing is massive. And I was absolutely terrified thinking that I have to drive this thing 2,000 miles back to California. So like I said at the beginning, I love the tiny house. I'm really happy that I've done this, but I did not feel that way on the 19th of December when I first saw it. Here I am. This is it. I'm in my tiny house. It's about 11 o'clock at night, Tennessee time. A little bit later. I have no internet signal at all because I'm inside of a tiny house that is inside of a metal barn. So there's no way for me to connect to my work computer, which I was going to do so that I could actually get some work done while I was gone. This also means that there's no way for me to contact work to let them know my schedule and when I'm going to be back. That's not good. The trailer, the house is unbelievably huge. Way bigger than I was envisioning. God, this lighting is horrible, isn't it? In fact, you know what? Let me put on the lights in the rest of the house, because maybe that'll help it look less like a horror film. There we go. See? So it's pretty nice. Yeah. I still look horrible. I look like a cross between Matthew Broderick and Ron Jeremy, which is not a good combination. I'm really concerned about trying to drive this thing out of here, because the country roads have extremely low-lying branches on the trees, and so yeah, I honestly don't know if I can make it. I'm really concerned. I'm really worried that I'm gonna hit the trees with the house. What else is freaking me out? Okay, so I can't contact work. You know, maybe I'll get fired. I won't have a job when I get back to LA, because I'm gonna be late returning, and I can't tell anybody. I guess maybe I can use the cell phone. The locks that I that I bought for the door are not fitting properly. That was frustrating. There's no readout for the solar panel system, so I'm not quite sure how much power I have. What else? I'm very freaked out by this whole thing. I'm really going through that. Did I make a huge mistake? I spent all this money. I spent my life savings. And the place is way too small. It's so tiny. I mean, it's ironic that the house itself, the overall trailer, is gargantuan, right? The thing is enormous. It's so intimidating. But the interior, I just don't have that much room. I really don't know how I can fit everything. So I'm really worried about that. What else? That's most of it. Oh God. Oh, what have I done? I have to drive this thing 2,000 miles by myself and try to park it in the desert without crashing or killing myself or somebody else on the road. I'm gonna have to stop and get gas with this thing. Gonna have to use. I'll only have to use truck stops. I can't pull into a regular gas station with something this big. And I can't plot out my route home because I can't get on the internet. Yeah. So that's all the negative stuff. Just, I might have spent my whole life savings on something that's gonna be impossible for me to get home and could get me killed in the process. Yeah. Well, I wanted to document the process. So it's looking like I may have documented one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made. Yeah, I'm really starting to think I shouldn't have done this. So as you can see from this part of the video, yes, I was not in a very good place when I picked up my tiny house. I really regretted the whole thing. I thought I had made a huge, huge mistake. And nevertheless, I forged ahead. I got through all of the problems and all the issues that I was worried about. And now I'm really happy that I made this decision. And I'm really excited and passionate about it to see where things lead next. There's still so many things that I have to do. And I'm looking forward to all of it. But I was not feeling that when I made what you're seeing right now. Okay, feeling a little bit more optimistic. Still not totally. I'm still pretty intimidated by everything. But the water pump broke this morning. Turns out they put in a fuse that was not powerful enough. It was a 10 amp fuse. It needs a 15. So the fuse blew and the water pump stopped working. The heater ran very well all last night and kept it pretty warm in here. Got it up to about 75 degrees, even though it was about 20 degrees outside. So not bad. It's running right now, purely off solar. It's still pretty warm in here. It's about 72. And it's about 20 degrees outside, so not bad. So here's what it looks like during the day. Now we don't have any artificial light. We have all the natural sunlight coming in. Again, we're running off solar power. So, and here's looking all the way back into the bathroom. So yeah, I managed to drive this thing, this beastly tiny house, managed to drive it down the road. Under some trees. We did hit trees coming onto this property. I'm a little bit worried about the solar panels. I hope I didn't damage those, but if I did, I'll just have to deal with it. So, yeah. So let's get a little closer look in the bathroom here, because it does look, it looks nice, you know, it looks nice. It's very bright. Nice sunlight coming in. So yeah, like I said, not quite as freaked out as I was last night, but still pretty freaked out. It's Tuesday, December 20th, and I have to get this thing. My last vacation day from work is tomorrow, so there's obviously no way I'm going to make it back in time. So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So there it is, right behind me. The vision has become a reality. Gallatin Meridian now exists, and here we are in Tennessee. As you can see, the thing is enormous, but doesn't quite look quite as intimidating now that it's outside. I think when it was indoors, it looked a lot bigger. But there it is. So I'm just going to take a walk around the whole thing and try not to step in dog crap again like I just did. Okay. So the motorcycle will attach right there on the porch, and this ramp will come down if I don't dislocate my shoulder trying to move it. I wish that was a joke. Unfortunately, that ramp must weigh about 150, 200 pounds, it seems like, and I did kind of hurt my shoulder when I was trying to move it up and down one time. What I did not know when I was shooting this footage is that the trailer brake controller in my Ram truck had been wired incorrectly by Knapheide, and as a result, the brakes on my tiny house were not working. Needless to say, there's no way I was going to drive this thing 2,000 miles without working brakes, so I had to detach my truck from the tiny house, take it to a Ram dealership, and pay $400 to have them fix the problem as I sat in the lobby for 5 hours. But thankfully, I will say props to Knapheide's customer service, because I sent them a receipt, told them what the problem was, and Knapheide reimbursed the money under my warranty. So that was very cool of them. Here's a photo of my truck and the tiny house before I left. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but in that video footage that we were just looking at, the driver's side front tire did not have a hubcap. And as you can see, it now has a hubcap. The reason it didn't is because before I left Los Angeles, I decided that I was going to check all of the lug nuts, right? Make sure that the lug nuts are tight just for safety purposes. And unfortunately, apparently I did not put my hubcap on properly on the driver's side of the front tire. So somewhere between Los Angeles and Tucson, it flew off, and I had to purchase a replacement while I was in Tennessee. So there you go. There was another $140 for a plastic hubcap that I wouldn't have had to replace if I wasn't an idiot and put it back on the right way. So yeah,
That was frustrating. How many other little frustrating things can I list?
Hey there. So we are on the road. I'm somewhere in Arkansas. I just left not that long ago because I wasn't in Tennessee for too long. But I just wanted to stop and make sure that everything was okay and that the trailer is fine and nothing's coming loose and stuff like that. So I don't know. Everything still looks really good. The doors are still closed. The doors didn't come flying open. The plate is still bolted to the deck right there for the motorcycle. That's the plate for the motorcycle. The doors are looking fine. Doesn't look like anything's come out. Yeah, we're looking good. The truck's not weighted down too much either. You can see right there. The rear end, the springs and stuff aren't compressed too much. So I think we're good. We can continue on the journey. See how far we get this evening.
It was Christmas Eve, babe.
Hey there, folks. Merry Christmas. It is about 7:30 in the evening. I am in Lordsburg, New Mexico at a Motel 6, and it is Christmas Eve, and I'm stuck here because the weather turned kind of bad. Funny thing is, the weather was actually really nice here all day, but the rest of my journey from here to Los Angeles, there were some storms coming through and high wind advisories in the desert, so figured it was probably smart to just sit here and wait it out rather than driving that gigantic trailer in those kind of high wind conditions. So here I am. I'm starving because I couldn't get any food because this is a really small town. There's one restaurant. It's actually right next door, but of course they're closed because it's Christmas and Christmas Eve. I had some powdered, camping food. There's actually a cup of it sitting right there. You don't want to see it. It's not very appetizing. But hey, you know what? That's life. I mean, this is all part of this crazy adventure of me getting this tiny house and making all this stuff happen. And yeah, it's been rough. I keep on asking if I've made a huge mistake, if I should have never done all of this. The whole point of doing this was to eventually, save some money and kind of change up my life, and I'm really regretting that decision because this is having exactly the opposite effect. I mean, it's costing me so much more money than I anticipated. So many little things are going wrong, and I'm really starting to think that this whole thing was a big mistake. But you know what? I'm young, I'm healthy, I have all of my limbs, I have a good job. Hopefully I will still have one, considering how much time I've had to take off and that I can't even get into my computer at work. But my point is, there are people out there who are a lot worse off than I am. So I can't complain, I mean, I think it's all going to be okay. I think everything's going to work out. So I'm about 10 hours from Los Angeles. I have no idea what I'm going to do when I get there. The plan was that I was going to put my tiny house in an RV park that was relatively close to my apartment, and then I would spend a couple days moving things basically into my tiny house. Unfortunately, I couldn't set a reservation because I had no idea when I was getting home. I had no idea how long this was going to take, so I couldn't book a reservation at an RV park. Now that I know I'll probably be showing up tomorrow on Christmas Day, I called at one place this afternoon. I contacted another place last week telling them I'd be in around this time anyway. The point is, I haven't found anywhere yet. So I'm bringing this gigantic trailer into Los Angeles, and I have no idea where I'm going to put it. And I have no idea how I'm going to start moving my stuff into the house. Of course, I need to go back to work on Tuesday, so I basically got 2 days. 2 days. I have 2 days to get my house back to LA and start and figure out where I'm going to put it and start moving into it. Then I got to go back to work. So I have a couple other RV parks that I'm looking at. If that doesn't work, I'm probably just going to have to leave it out at my property. Or park it on the street somewhere, if I can find enough room on the street. I don't know. So yeah, so I have all that to deal with as well. So that's where we are. We'll see what happens next, huh?
Turns out that this is what happened next. This is a photo that I took looking outside of my hotel room in Lordsburg later that night.
When I moved to California, one of my biggest fears was having my car, break down in the desert. And as I was moving, my car broke down in the desert. And now, one of my biggest fears in moving my tiny house was to get caught like in a snowstorm or something like that. Looks like I got caught in a snowstorm. So here's my truck, and here is the tiny house. So I got to wipe a good foot of snow off my truck. Oh yeah, good times.
Here's hoping that this is the first, last, and only photograph that will ever exist of my truck and my tiny house covered in snow.
So as you can see, I didn't have a whole lot of footage of the process of picking up the house. It's mainly because I was having a really horrible time, and the last thing I felt like doing was dragging out the camera. One thing that really, really sucked that isn't in any of the footage that I took is on Christmas Day, as I was leaving that final town that I stayed in, as I was leaving, what the heck is the name of it? Now I don't even remember the name of it, but whatever. I just told you what the name of the town was in the clip that you just saw, so Lordsburg, that's what it was. I completely forgot the name. Anyway, as I was leaving Lordsburg, I took a wrong turn and I started freaking out because the road I was on was going further and further north out into the desert, and I didn't want to go that way. So I decided I'm going to turn around. Here's a little tip for those of you who might be taking a similar journey. Never, 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 ever, ever turn down a dirt road when you have no idea where it goes. Don't ever do that. I did that and I got stuck in the mud in front of someone's farmhouse. In fact, I could actually show you a satellite view of where I was at.
Now hold on a second. Don't judge me. Before you go saying, well, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? That was dumb. Okay, here, look. This is the map. I was on the 70 heading north, and I decided to go down Hook and Anchor Road in order to turn around. This was a road according to my GPS. It was perfectly fine. I thought, oh, I can go down there and I can circle around. Not a problem. But it turned out to be a problem, mainly because it had snowed the night before, and all of that nice solid dirt was now thick, crazy, deep mud. So I wasn't quite as stupid as it sounds. It was a legitimate road according to the GPS. It just isn't a legitimate road after a snowstorm.
So anyway, that was the last thing that happened on my way back to Los Angeles. So I do have more footage. I do have videos now of the process of moving in and things like that. For those of you who are wondering why I disappeared for so long, it's because once I actually moved in, the inside of my place looked like Sanford and Son. I mean, it was ridiculous. I couldn't even get to my camera gear, let alone set up my computer to edit anything. So as a result, I wasn't posting any videos. Oh, and I also couldn't get on the internet. So even if I could shoot and edit videos, there was no way for me to upload the videos. So now that it is many months later and things are finally starting to fall into place, I'll be able to do updates a bit more frequently. So as always, thank all of you so much for watching. And remember, if your ambitions do not scare you, they're not big enough.